all heard really scary things about psychedelics. They scrambled your chromosomes. They caused you to hop off of buildings. It was all terrifying. So I took a look at the true effects of these substances. I was very surprised at what I found. Mescaline, psilocybin, MDMA, LSD.
For a lot of people, this was the bad and evil drugs. But the opposite is true. There are really people who could benefit.
Can't wait to see what's going to happen.
What if mental health problems like OCD, PTSD, alcoholism, and depression could all be helped?
I'm a fairly conservative, sober scientist, but I've seen it work.
And this medicine here starts to help heal.
Some of my friends said, don't do it.
Psychedelic therapy has the potential to revolutionize mental health care.
They broaden the lens and you realize, oh my goodness, there's all of this. I didn't know.
It's like a light bulb has gone off.
My story is the same story as millions of veterans. Where my story becomes unique is I took MDMA 3 times. It saved my life.
I really did short-circuit this suicidal period that I was in.
It's not like magic bullet that everything's perfect.
But just think how much human suffering could be relieved.
This is the tool for understanding the mind.
María Sabina fue una mujer que, por así, le abrió puerta a todo el mundo.
This tension continues to grow.
If the drug war ends, what's the peace look like?
We're all striving to have good health and happiness.
This medicine helped me stand on my own 2 feet.
True science probes the very frontiers of human knowledge. And that's where psychedelic research is right now.
Alright guys, that was a trailer to a Netflix documentary about the studies of psychedelics. Because I know I have a lot of conservatives and religious people who follow me, I know a lot of people would disagree with this, and I've seen sort of in the conservative kind of area of YouTube, a lot of conservatives sort of fighting back against this idea that psychedelics is becoming more accessible or talking about using it as a sort of medical treatment, and sort of this kind of reverting back to the 1950s fear-mongering of
innocent of a new and deadly menace lurking behind closed doors. Marijuana, the burning weed with its roots in hell. This vicious plant can be grown in your neighbor's yard, rolled into harmless-looking cigarettes. Debauchery, violence, murder, suicide, and the ultimate end of the marijuana addict. Hopeless insanity.
Do I think that this type of thing, if it becomes so mainstream, can go awry and go too far and become toxic and do more harm than good and become destructive? Yes. However, psychedelics itself is not that. It can be, but it really depends on the individuals. Like he said something about, you know, the fear-mongering of like this will make you kill yourself or jump off a building. People can go into psychosis when it comes to psychedelics. It's rare, but it can happen. I personally am pro-psychedelic, and I'm also pro-legalizing drugs. Thomas Sowell is on my side with this, so like I have an intellectual that agrees with me here.
Like prohibition, the ban on drugs has been a financial bonanza for organized crime, and its profits have financed the corruption of law enforcement agencies, politicians, and judges. Crusaders cannot accept the fact that they are not God, that they have neither the right nor the competence to run other people's lives.
And for the life of me, if people drink alcohol and are super against taking mushrooms or acid or smoking weed, I personally think you are a giant hypocrite. I personally hate alcohol. Alcohol has done way more harm to society than psychedelics ever would. I've had arguments with people who drink on a regular basis heavily every night and still think marijuana is like the devil's playground. It's like you are a fucking hypocrite, and the only reason why you're against these things is because the government marked it drug. They labeled it drug, and so that title of drug has a negative, demonized connotation to it, right? I've personally seen plenty of stories and documentaries about how psychedelics, or even marijuana, the THC in marijuana helping people. There was this father who had a daughter who had seizures from the day she was born, multiple seizures every day, completely stunting her ability to develop as a human being in her life. She was on a suitcase full of medications, and then she got on a THC sort of cycle, and her seizures pretty much stopped.
Her seizures were probably once every 5 minutes or so. She would have hundreds a day. So basically what she was doing was sleeping and seizing.
But one by one, the drugs were failing or causing more problems than they fixed. A last desperate chance to save her daughter brought her online, where other parents were talking about the wonders of cannabis oil.
How soon before you saw a response?
Immediately. We saw, like, that day, seizures just weren't there. She wasn't seizing.
And the best way to take it is put it under your tongue and rub it in your cheek. Try to communicate, just relax.
We also know that boosting certain branches of the endocannabinoid system is helpful in relieving symptoms of Parkinson's.
I think you're calmed down. So quickly. Isn't that amazing?
He used just a single drop, and his hands afterwards were rock steady, and the dyskinesia left.
It works most of the time.
I don't, for the life of me, understand why people feel like in this short time you've had on the earth that you have all the answers to everything. You don't have the answers to everything. And the fact that there might be a more natural way to help people deal with something like PTSD, why wouldn't you think that that soldier shouldn't have access to something like that? I'm not a purist when it comes to psychedelics. Some people are. Some people think it should just be to find yourself or go into deep meditation. Some people think it should only be held for medical or therapeutic reasons. I think, again, you can use it on your own. If you are fully informed and aware of what you're going into, you should definitely respect the plant that you're using. But for me, I've definitely had psychedelic experiences that definitely opened my eyes to things. I'm not gonna go too far into it.
And you can't ignore empirical data. It's not reasonable. And the empirical data that psychedelic substances can produce mystical experiences, and that those often have a transformative effect. I mean, one of the latest studies showed that if you took people who were dying of cancer and you gave them psilocybin in a sufficient dose to produce a mystical experience, that you radically decreased their fear of death. You know, you got to kind of wake up and smell the roses when you see something like that. And the people who are doing this research are very reliable people.
And again, a lot of times when people are super anti that, no matter how much you talk about it or describe the positives of it, people are never going to understand, and they're always going to demonize it, because it's like they just don't know what they don't know, and they're going to stick to their beliefs, and that's fine. But for me, in a very, very strange way, I feel humbled and very grateful to have the experiences that I've had. But again, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that the use of these things can also lead to bad and dangerous and dark paths. They can. But I would much rather people microdose than take antidepressants. I would much rather people have a DMT trip than, be on opioids. There's clinics in Mexico where they use these drugs to help people get off their addiction, and they have quite a high success rate. But I just wanted to react to this trailer. I like documentaries like this. Being someone who, I'm not an expert in it, but I've studied it quite a bit. This is why I'm not a conservative. I've met people here traveling who was working a horrible job, a corporate job, living a life that was making them miserable, and so they took, had one DMT trip and it completely changed their life, and now they're traveling and being healthy and eating right and taking care of themselves. You don't have to partake in these things, by the way, to reach that epiphany. You can do that on your own without it. But people have used these things as a tool, right? You can meditate, you can do breath work, you can pray, whatever. You can find it in other ways. You can just educate yourself by reading a book. But people have have had positive experiences using these plants. However, yes, you can still have negative experiences as well. You just have to understand what you're getting yourself into. I feel like God made the planet, and if these things are on the planet, then they should be used for something. If maybe we're not using it correctly, but they should be used for something.
This is from the Eadwine Psalter, 9th to 12th century, and that's Adam and Eve. But there is speculation that the fruit that they're eating there, you see, these psilocybin mushrooms, right? Because they're the only kind of mushroom that grow like that. And then this is I think it's called Banisteria vine, if I remember correctly, and it's what ayahuasca is made out of, and it has this double helix form, which is very, very interesting. And the natives, nobody could figure out how the hell they made this ayahuasca, which transports people spiritually in a very intense manner. To make this stuff, they had to take two plants that don't grow anywhere near each other. And there's 1 million plants in the Amazon, so how do you figure that out? Nobody knows. And if you ask them, they tell you that the plants told them how to do it, which isn't much of an explanation as far as modern people are concerned. But then when modern people take the ayahuasca and the plant, so to speak, starts to talk to them, they're a little less leery of the whole theory that the plants had something to do with this.
Even if you look at the history of the banning of marijuana, it had nothing to do with protecting people's health. It had everything to do with a paper fucking industry. People were going to use the hemp plant to make paper, and it was sort of this competitive thing. And so this guy paid a lot of money to sort of demonize marijuana. The idea of stopping any scientific studies on psychedelics at all, you have to ask yourself why the government was so invested in that. I just think that a lot of psychedelics can really tap into parts of your brain and your consciousness that you are not able to do so, and maybe there's a reason why you shouldn't. Maybe people aren't ready for that, but I don't know, that's my opinion about it. You can let me know what you feel about psychedelics, if you think it's fucking crazy, it's stupid, we should never touch that, it's of the devil, whatever, or if you partake in it and it's changed your life in a positive way or a negative way, let me know in the comment section below. And also, as someone who is a spiritual person, you also have to be aware of what you might be opening yourself up to as well, but that's for a different video. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit that button to get notifications when I do upload. All of that really does help with the algorithm, guys. And if you'd like to support the channel further, you can donate. My PayPal and Cash App link is in the description box below and also in the comment section. Of course it helps, but you don't have to. You can just like, comment, and subscribe. Another great way to support this channel is either join my brand new membership program, different levels, different tiers, different perks, or you can visit my brand new merch shop. Links down below, and links to all of the alternative platforms I'm on, my socials, including my Twitter, other ways to support me, and other ways to contact me for business is always in the links down below. And if you like, you can super thanks. I also have a second travel vlog channel. I travel as a lifestyle, or I live abroad. If you'd like to know where I am in the world, you can go in the description box below and also in the comment section. Hit the link, go subscribe to my travel vlog channel, and follow me on my travel Instagram. My storage is these videos most up to date. And I also have my other channel, Speak Freely, links down below. And you guys have an amazing day. Bye!